Hello and welcome back to Matt Hayes Tottenham blog and to another video. Look, this isn't a video that I really thought I was going to be making this early in the season, but today I'm going to be going through everything that you need to know about the last 16 or so hours as Tottenham have sacked Mauricio Pochettino and replaced him very, very quickly with Jose Mourinho. Now, before I get into this, if you do want more videos, hopefully not like this, but on Premier League matches, there'll be previews, reviews, breaking news videos and much more, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and click the notification bell so you do get notified whenever I upload. So yeah, the news broke about 7:30 last night that Tottenham have sacked Mauricio Pochettino, and there's been certainly a mixed reaction to this news. We know there's a lot of fans who have been calling in the last couple of weeks for this to happen, and they have been calling for Mourinho to be brought in as a replacement, and of course they have now got their wish. But personally, I'm really, really disappointed with this development. I've obviously always backed Poch, and even though we have had a really, really strange year in that we've obviously made it to a Champions League final, but everything that we've that's kind of made us fall in love with this Mauricio Pochettino team and with the club again, all of this has gone from our style of play, from the what the players have shown on the pitch, the way they were fighting for the jersey, for the badge. It hasn't been there, and ultimately that has cost Mauricio Pochettino. But still, I can't defend this decision from Daniel Levy, because I feel as though, despite the downturn in form that we have seen in the last year, Mauricio Pochettino has completely and utterly overachieved with what he was given at this football club. He's had an average net spend of £18 million per season, and he's brought us to a Champions League final. I know there's a lot of people saying that we need to stop mentioning the Champions League final because it was a fluke thing and all that, and obviously we didn't win it in the end. But I think for me, that run to the Champions League final epitomised what Mauricio Pochettino's Tottenham team was. We had 1 point after 3 games in that Champions League group. It was the group of death that year as well. We had Barcelona, Inter Milan and PSV. We had 1 point after 3 games, and they showed unbelievable character and determination, and they somehow managed to turn it around. And granted, we did get a bit of luck on the last day of that group when Inter Milan dropped points at home to PSV. But we were in a position where we could capitalise on that, and we did capitalise on it. And we managed to make it through to the last 16, playing against a Borussia Dortmund side who, obviously they're not the best team in the European stage, but at that time they were an amazing run of form. And they came to Wembley, and we really swept them aside, obviously beating them 3-0 in the home leg. And it was one of those famous nights under Mauricio Pochettino, one of those amazing performances where we really kind of outperformed what we should have been capable of. That night we had Jan Vertonghen playing in left back against Jadon Sancho, who was one of the best wingers in Europe at the time, and Vertonghen had him in his pocket. It was one of those typical performances that again made us fall back in love with this club. And then in the return leg over in Germany, we beat them 1-0, which an away result like that in Europe is absolutely outstanding. We had the draw then for the quarter-final against Manchester City, who obviously were one of the best teams in the world at that time, if not the best. And we know they do often struggle on the European stage, but it was still a daunting task because look how well they were doing, and it's been a while since we've had a good result against them. And I think it did work out in our favour that the home leg was the first European night at the new stadium, and that obviously gave us a big boost in itself. But getting that result against them, we had a potential setback early on when we gave away the penalty, but Hugo Lloris came to our rescue. He saved it, and it was a really good performance, and one where I do think we did deserve the win. And then going to that away leg, it was just again getting a result that we absolutely should not have gotten. Obviously a bit of luck with VAR in that they decided Llorente didn't handball it for our third goal, and then that offside against Sergio Aguero for the goal Raheem Sterling scored in at a time. And look, we all know what happened in the semi-final. Ajax, probably one of the better teams to get in that competition. Obviously didn't want Barcelona, but we never really underestimated just how good Ajax were, because they'd beaten Real Madrid and Juventus in the previous 2 legs, 2 teams that we have been knocked out by in that competition in recent years. Juventus the year before, and Real Madrid back when we got there under Harry Redknapp. And we lost the home leg and 2-0 down away in that second leg, and that second half, as I said, just completely epitomises everything that club was about under Mauricio Pochettino. And the fact that was just 5 months ago, and today we're sitting in a situation where where Jose Mourinho is the man in charge of this club. It's really confusing, and it is something that I'm struggling to get my head around. You know, in recent weeks I have kind of become resigned to the fact that Pochettino's time was coming to an end, and I did think he wouldn't be there towards the end of the season. But you know, maybe after that Sheffield United game, there was a few hours that might have just been frustration more than anything, where I thought he wouldn't be in charge for the game against West Ham. But having given a bit of thought, I never ever even considered the possibility that this would be happening so soon. But unfortunately it has, and what we need to do now is try and figure out why this has happened. And it does seem as though this deterioration in the relationship between Mauricio Pochettino and Daniel Levy started back with those comments Mauricio Pochettino made, I think it was before the semi-final, when he said he would leave the club if we won the Champions League. And as fans, that is something that kind of it scared us more than angered us at the time, because you know this bad form hadn't really come to the fore yet, and it was more of a little thing going on in the background while we had this amazing journey to the Champions League final. But it meant a lot more for Daniel Levy and the board, and they were really, really disappointed that Pochettino did make those comments. Now, obviously, we're never really going to know if there was much truth to that. It was Pochettino kind of making a statement saying, oh God, I don't know what I'll do if we do win, it'll be such an achievement, or if he actually genuinely did mean that. Now, the board felt as though not only did that affect the morale of the players, obviously, because it would be hard not to be affected by that, but the board also felt it affected the club as a whole, and that is something obviously that they weren't quite happy with. And throughout the summer, you know, we saw it ourselves, Pochettino's demeanour, his press conferences, he was really downbeat, he was frustrated, he was angry, he was snapping at journalists, which is something we've never seen from him before. And the board just got increasingly frustrated with that, and they spent a bit of money in the summer. It was £130 million they spent altogether. Of course, bringing in Ndombele and Lo Celso, the two big signings. Sessegnon is one for the future, and Jack Clarke sending him back to Leeds. Now, Daniel Levy felt as though Mauricio Pochettino had gotten the players that he needed, but Pochettino felt he didn't get the players that he wanted, and there was more that he wanted to do in that window, not just in terms of incomings, but he wanted players to leave. And we know that he did say it was going to be a painful rebuild, which we obviously took to mean the players that we have come to love over the last few years, they will be leaving and there'll be new players coming in. And I imagine Paulo Dybala and Bruno Fernandes obviously were players that Pochettino did want, and they were a part of Pochettino's frustration over the window. And the fact that they didn't come in is quite heavily down to the fact that players didn't leave. Now, Daniel Levy has said, he was in the general meeting with the Tottenham Hotspur Supporter Trust last month, that he did try his best to get some of these players out of the club, but the interest just wasn't there. Now, looking mainly at players like Alderweireld, Vertonghen and Christian Eriksen, you know, we were really confused over the summer just why there was no interest. Alderweireld obviously had that release clause in his contract. Christian Eriksen made the comments that he did want to leave. But the only explanation that I can think of is that their contract is up next summer, and in about a month and a half they can be approached to join in a free transfer under the Bosman ruling. So that kind of may explain why the interest wasn't there, and that unfortunately does come back to Daniel Levy and his failure to tie them down on long-term contracts, which may potentially have cost us quite a bit here. And kind of sticking with the players, the board also felt that under Pochettino the training ground had become a bit toxic, and it just seems though these rumours that we have been hearing in the media and stuff about this toxicity within the team and the players getting frustrated and the breakdown in relationship between player and manager, it may just be very true. And the other rumours that a lot of us had chosen to kind of ignore were the talks of these crisis meetings between Mauricio Pochettino and Daniel Levy over the last week or so. Now, it does seem as though this has been going on for a bit longer than a week, which I'll get into a bit later when I start talking about Jose Mourinho. But kind of what we've been hearing in the media was since the players left an international break, Daniel Levy and Pochettino have been meeting quite a bit to try and sort out what's going on here. And there was news that Pochettino stormed out of a meeting with Daniel Levy late last week, and you have to imagine he was kind of told that his position was in jeopardy, or excuse me. What I'm thinking is, we know how Daniel Levy likes to obviously not spend that much money, and the the kind of reports are saying that Pochettino has been given about £12.5 million in compensation, or that he would have been owed that. Now what I'm wondering is, these meetings over the last week, it's because it seems as though the board had made up their mind quite a few weeks ago that they would be looking for a replacement for Pochettino. So I'm kind of wondering, were these meetings Daniel Levy trying to get Pochettino to come to a mutual agreement, and obviously he would have been sacked, but to try and come to a mutual agreement to, if that would maybe reduce the compensation, or whatever reasoning Daniel Levy might have had for that. And Pochettino would have stood by his word, because he's told us he's not going to walk away from the club. As far as he was concerned, he had another 5 years here to try and rebuild what he wanted to do. But Daniel Levy could also have mentioned that he was in talks with another manager, or that he had made this shortlist to replace Mauricio Pochettino, because basically, according to Sky Sports News, the negotiations with Jose Mourinho's agent, Pini Zahavi, started after the 1-1 draw against Watford, which is over 3 weeks ago now. And I'm sure Pochettino would have found out about that, and that could be why he stormed out of this meeting and stuff. And one thing that actually has surprised me, going back to his departure, is that not many players have spoken out about it. You often see a few posts on social media and stuff like that, but there's only been 2 players so far. It's about 10 o'clock when I'm recording this. There's only 2 players so far who have actually posted on social media. The first one was Dele Alli, who, as he says, really owes his entire career to Pochettino at this point, in the level that he has reached. It's a quite short message from him. He said, "I can't thank this man enough. He's taught me so much, and I'm so grateful for everything he's done for me. Good luck, and hope to see you again, my friend." And he was the only one who tweeted last night. There were a few interviews from Ben Davies and Toby Alderweireld, who were on international duty, and both of them kind of had the same message. They found out after the game, they were shocked, and they wish him all the best. Davies did seem a bit more disappointed about it than Alderweireld did. Alderweireld said something like, "This is the way football is, and I can't say anything more than that." He did also mention that he expected a big name to take Pochettino's place at the club, which of course proved to be true with Mourinho coming in. Then Kane tweeted this morning at about 8 o'clock, so it was actually after Mourinho had been appointed. Kane posted on his Twitter, he said, "Gaffer, I'll be forever thankful to you for helping me achieve my dreams. We've had some amazing moments in the last 5.5 years that I will never forget. You were my manager, but my friend as well, and I thank you for that relationship. Good luck with your next chapter." So it does seem as though that breakdown in relationship between player and manager was really confined to a certain number of players. It wasn't everyone. Ali and Kane, 2 people who, as I said, owe so much of their career to Pochettino. And you look at people like Danny Rose, who said recently, he's often referred to Pochettino as his father. And he said recently the minute Pochettino stops calling him into his office to give him advice and tips and stuff is when he will leave the club. And obviously, that's over now. Pochettino's gone. But that relationship there was between them was still really, really strong. Now, according to Sky Sports News, Daniel Levy did draw up a shortlist of 4 managers to replace Pochettino when, I assume it was after this draw against Watford 3 weeks ago. Those 4 managers were, of course, Jose Mourinho, but also Julian Nagelsmann, Massimiliano Allegri and Thomas Tuchel, who were names who were thrown around by the fan base when the rumours started to float about Pochettino potentially being sacked. Now, while bringing in Jose Mourinho is obviously a massive statement, he's one of the most successful managers in history. He has won trophies everywhere he has been. It just doesn't seem as though it's the right appointment for Tottenham. And, unfortunately, it does seem as though Levy might have potentially gone with the easy option here, because Mourinho, he lives in London. He's absolutely desperate to get back into football, and he has said himself that he wants to manage a third English team. And it just feels as though everything that has been done at the club by Pochettino over the last 5 years will be undone by Mourinho, because they're just 2 very, very different managers. Pochettino was building, but we know Mourinho is a short-term manager. And when it first started breaking that we were in advanced talks with Mourinho, there was a quote, I think it was on Sky Sports News, that said the negotiations were focused around the club's immediate future, which for me rings a lot of alarm bells, because we're not a let's win something now and think about next year kind of club. We're a club who are looking into the future, not just on the pitch, but with what has been going on off the pitch as well in the last few years. Just to run through the club statement about the appointment of Jose Mourinho, which still I'm really struggling to get my head around. We're delighted to announce the appointment of Jose Mourinho as head coach on a contract that runs until the end of the 2022-23 season, so it's a 3.5 year deal. Jose is one of the world's most accomplished managers, having won 25 senior trophies. He is renowned for his tactical prowess and has managed FC Porto, Inter Milan, Chelsea, Real Madrid and Manchester United. He has won a domestic title in a record 4 different countries, it's Portugal, England, Italy and Spain, and is one of only 3 managers to have won the UEFA Champions League twice with 2 clubs, FC Porto in 2004 and Inter Milan in 2010. He's also a 3-time Premier League champion with Chelsea, 2005, 2006 and 2015. Commenting on the appointment, Chairman Daniel Levy said, "In Jose, we have one of the most successful managers in football. He has a wealth of experience, can inspire teams and is a great tactician. He has won honours at every club he has coached. We believe he will bring energy and belief to the dressing room." And Jose Mourinho himself had to say, "I'm excited to be joining a club with such a great heritage and such passionate supporters. The quality in both the squad and the academy excites me. Working with these players is what has attracted me." So obviously Mourinho very, very excited about the opportunity that he's been given here. And according to Sky Sports, Daniel Levy has actually promised Jose Mourinho funds for the January transfer window and also the upcoming summer transfer window if Mourinho believes that that is necessary. And for me, that just asks the question, why couldn't he have done that for Mauricio Pochettino? And that seems to be the turning point in that relationship, was that Poch just simply was not given the money. Yet Levy can appoint Mourinho and straight away say, "Here's all the money that you want." It's just a really, really confusing situation at the moment. And look, the one thing that we do have to be kind of I wouldn't say grateful for, but appreciative of, is that they have brought in a new manager really quickly. We're not going to end up with a caretaker manager or anything like that. I think it is good that we have replaced him so quickly, but it's just the name of the replacement really is what's kind of frustrating me. There were so many better options out there. But look, it is what it is. Jose Mourinho is the new head coach of Tottenham. It's a massive statement, there's no doubt about that. As they've listed off his honours there, he's a very successful manager and he's obviously a massive name. And hopefully with that name and his history, he can attract big players to Tottenham. Obviously he himself is a big name, and it's a really crazy thing to think that he is now in charge of Tottenham Hotspur. But I just don't know if it is the best option. Tottenham are a team who like to work on a tight budget, which may be changing now. We're a team who likes to give youth a chance. We play attacking football. And all of those things are really, really good until you put them beside the name Jose Mourinho, because that's not what he does. Now, part of these negotiations between Levy and Mourinho were also focused on the style of play that Mourinho would employ at the club. And because this appointment has been made so quickly, you have to assume maybe he's willing to play more attacking football. And there's no doubt the players are there for him to do that. And we do have a defence that can cope with counter-attacks and stuff like that if we do go out and play attacking football. But there's no telling really what football he is going to play. But look, he's starting his reign at the London Stadium on Saturday, a big game, a London derby. It's a great way to welcome him to the club. Look, if we do win, it'll be our first away win since January, which is obviously one of the reasons why Pochettino has lost his job. But I think despite that run of form away from home, and the fact that we've only picked up 25 points in the last 24 Premier League games we've played, we've lost 18 games this year. No one has been denying this run of form has been abysmal. But unfortunately, I just think Mauricio Pochettino has been a victim of his own overachieving over the last couple of years, and the loyalty that he showed to Tottenham Hotspur has not been repaid. And it's absolutely devastating that it has ended like this, because it's not how the story was supposed to end. There were supposed to be trophies. There's supposed to be, him spending his 10, 15, 20 years at Tottenham, winning every trophy there was to win, bringing these players through the club, and it just wasn't supposed to end like this. But look, it is what it is. I'm not happy about the situation, but I'm still 100% going to get behind Jose Mourinho, because it's not his fault that this has happened. It's not his fault that it has kind of ended so sourly with Pochettino and Levy. But he's the new manager, and he's the man that we have to get behind, no matter how unhappy we are about it. He's now the head coach of Tottenham Hotspur, and he's who we have to support. So look, don't forget to put down in the comments below your opinions on this entire situation, the kind of how the club dealt with it, why it was done, what you think it means for the future and stuff like that. If you have enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks for watching.